Well, friends, here we are again in Augusta County, Virginia. It's the 13th of January. The weather has really helped us out a lot. We don't have to worry about snow, but we do have to worry about a lot of good things like showing off some cars. So today we have a special guest of mine, Mike Auen, who has this beautiful 2001 Corvette convertible. So Mike, come on in, let's talk a little bit about this. Wow,
Hello,
it
guys.
sure is beautiful.
Thank you. Hey, good to see you. Thanks for
Good
having
to
me on
see-
your show here today.
And what's the color is just magnificent.
It's 2001. This is called pewter metallic.
Pewter metallic.
Yes, it was a very common color for the 2001 Corvette.
Mhm.
Yes. And when I was looking for a car, when I was looking to buy a Corvette, I started getting real specific. One of the things I really wanted was a pewter metallic.
Okay, so you wanted this color.
This was the number one choice.
Oh wow.
Black would have been okay, red would have been okay, but they were not my primary choice. This was it.
And
yes.
you wanted a convertible, I'm assuming?
I wanted a convertible. There's four things that were okay. Five. It would be a C5 Corvette.
Okay,
which
this
means
is.
which it
And
is.
the C5 was what
97 through 2004.
97 to 2004.
Right. I wanted a convertible. Point number two, I wanted 6-speed manual transmission.
Okay.
I wanted the pewter metallic, and I wanted the pretty much the stock chrome wheels on it.
They do look nice.
Well, thank you. There's a lot that have different kinds of wheels. A lot that have the black wheels. I was always I preferred these kind of wheels, so I was going to search however long it took till I found exactly what I wanted.
So when did you start looking for a Corvette? Or let's start from the beginning. When did you say, gee, I think I'm going to go out and look for a Corvette?
Well,
how did you turn that page?
Well, it's a great story. My wife and I are both retired now, and we decided to treat ourselves to a 2-seater car. We had a lot of different cars in mind. On top of that list was probably a Mazda Miata. We were going to get a Miata. We owned one before. We loved it. We were going to get another one. And so I started looking for Miatas, maybe a Honda S2000, one of the 2-seater, maybe a BMW. Corvette was not on the radar at all. It wasn't. Until I talked to a friend, and this friend, I was telling him the same story. I said, my wife and I are looking for a Miata. And he said, have you considered a Corvette? Corvettes are my childhood dreams. Of course I've considered a Corvette, but I can't afford one, and it's just, it's an unrealistic dream that will never happen. And he said, why don't you check them out? You might find out that the prices aren't as bad as you think they are. So that got me curious. And Guy, I knew nothing about Corvettes. I didn't know that there was such a thing as generations, a C1, C2, C3. So I started learning those things. And I went through all the different generations. I preferred the C5 the most because of the price. I think I could get, it was a beautiful body style.
It is, it's gorgeous.
Thank you. And I believe I could get one within my budget. If I go too old into the C2, C3s, to get a nice one, those prices are pretty high. But that's really the all-time dream, to have a C2 or C3. If I get the newer ones, again, the prices start going up for the newer ones. And to be honest with you, I love the hidden headlights. When you get into the C6, C7s, they don't have the hidden headlights anymore. I love the hidden headlights. So C5 it was going to be. And so I started searching, and I told my wife, I said, how about if we get a Corvette? And, well, she wasn't on board, okay? Let's just say that. But once I saw this one, it was exactly what I wanted.
Well,
It was exactly what I wanted.
you know, one thing nice about getting a newer Corvette, you've got the dependability of always knowing it's going to be there for you. Some of the old ones you've got to have them worked on all the time. This
Right.
you don't. This is turnkey. Get on it and enjoy it.
Well, and that's kind of what I wanted. I like the fact of old cars and what they represent, because you and I grew up in that era. You remember those Corvette Stingrays, the C2, especially the C2s, just driving down with those side pipes and just chugging down the road, and you said, "Man, I'd love to have a Corvette someday." But you're still talking about technology now that's 50, 60 years old. Great cars, yeah, they're still great cars. You'd still love to have one. But I think I hit a very happy medium here. I got a very nice looking vehicle, sports car, Corvette, with all the amenities of really, even though it's 2001, of really some high and new technology that still is good today. Something even as simple as cruise control, has the heads-up display inside, power seats, AM/FM radio. Okay, it does have a cassette player in it, kind of old, but some things that are dual-zone air conditioning. Come on, you weren't going to find those kinds of features on the old
On a
cars.
C2, wouldn't you? Yeah.
You wouldn't find that. So you have nice creature comfort options on this car, and you still have a sports car.
Wow.
And that's what I liked about it. It was a win-win situation. So now the quest is on. Can I find exactly what I'm looking for at the right price? Now,
And then how long did it take you, once you made that decision, I'm
Okay.
going to look for a Corvette,
okay.
till signing on the dotted line?
Believe it or not, it wasn't that long.
Oh, really?
It wasn't that long. Now, granted, when my wife and I were looking for a Miata, and that was our dream car, our price range was only about here. Buy a nice used one, I might, maybe up to here.
Have a little wiggle room.
Have a little wiggle room to get what we wanted. But then when I start getting into the Corvette, that went from here up to about here. The price all of a sudden went up, but I figure it this way. We're retired. We worked all of our lives for what? To drive around in an SUV? No.
It's time to enjoy life.
It's time to enjoy life. That's exactly right. And so I said, let's get this. But to answer your question, I first talked to that gentleman probably in March, maybe late March of last year, 2019. And I bought this, signed on the dotted line, May 15th, 2019.
So maybe 6 weeks. And
About 6
you
weeks.
You went from saying, I think I'll get a Corvette, till
to
driving it
there's
home.
one in my driveway.
Wow.
And the thing about it is it all did happen real quick. But that meant pretty much every day I was on the internet. I was on Facebook Marketplace. I was on cargurus.com. And that's where I found this. It was on cargurus.com. Every day. But every day the selection changed, especially on cargurus.com. But I also wanted to get something that was close. Some really nice ones. Arizona, California, Nevada. I can't go that length.
Fly out there and drive it back. That's
Right. I just wasn't going to do that. Sight unseen, I don't know. I got extremely lucky. This car I found, again, on Car Gurus in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And it was at a dealership. A guy had traded it in. But it was 10 minutes away from where my brother lived.
Oh, wow.
So I called him and I asked him, I'm interested in this Corvette. Can you go down to this dealer, look at the car, tell me what you think? Because he's big into cars too.
Okay.
And so if he said, yes, it's good, I would trust him. If he said, Mike, I don't think so, I'd trust him either way. But he went and looked at it and he called me from the dealer and he said, Mike,
down here.
This thing is like brand new. He said, I can't find anything wrong with it cosmetically. They started it up. Now, unfortunately, my brother can't drive a stick shift, so he could not take it for a test drive. But he said, I can't find anything wrong. So really, I did buy it sight
You want to
unseen.
pop the hood? Let's
except
look
for the
under.
pictures
You know,
I
we
saw.
always like to see the power plant
Right.
in these
Let's
things.
look at this thing. And this is the first vehicle that I have owned, Guy, that the hood opens up what I call in the reverse direction. But there's the power plant. Now, I'm not as technical with engines and things like that as some people may be. But it is the LS1 engine that came out in the 2001, 350 horsepower. It's a 5.7 liter engine. Nothing has been done to this engine at all. Again, this is how clean it was when I bought it, and I've driven it over 3,000 miles, and it hasn't gotten really any dirtier than what it had been.
So it's 5.7 liter.
Right.
Does that, what is that? Maybe about 350 cubic inches?
Yeah, it's probably somewhere around there. I would think so. You know, us 60s guys,
everything is cubic inches.
It's cubic inches,
yes.
right? And everything's going to liters now, and I don't know what that conversion is, but I think that'd be awful close, about 350 cubic inch. But boy, she'll get out and go. And here in a little bit, Guy, I'm going to take you for a ride.
Oh, well, I can't wait.
And we'll unleash some of these horses and see.
But
see what
first,
this baby can do.
you're going to have to take me down to the drugstore to get some Bengay for my neck first.
Yeah, your neck may go back, a couple times. She will move. As a matter of fact, several times this car has scared me with the power that it has, and I need to be very, very careful with it. But it's just your typical engine, and I understand the newer ones have all moved up to well over 400 horsepower on them. Again, 350, trust me, that's enough for me. I don't need any more than that. It will get out there, and it will move, and it will go.
Mike, sure. You know, to be a 19-year-old car, you would think this car is no more than 2 years old, as clean as it is underneath.
Well, like I said, one of the reasons I bought it, it had low mileage, and it was very, very well taken care of. And this is what I inherited. I inherited clean engine, clean car, no scratches. Pretty much a perfect interior. When I got into this car, it still smelled like a new car when I bought it.
Wow, I can imagine so.
Yes.
I'm just looking at the leather seats.
They're leather seats.
Leather seats, wow.
Now, they are not heated seats.
Okay.
I think heated seats didn't start in Corvettes till later to the C6 or maybe even C7 generation, but C5s do not have heated seats. I do miss that because I have that in my SUV, and the heated seats are nice, but again, I usually don't take this out when I'm driving in cold weather.
And I see you have the millennial anti-theft device, the 6-speed transmission.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. 6-speed transmission. Again, that was one of my on the wish list. It was going to have a manual transmission. I still remember my wife. I was in my room on the internet looking for a car, and she said, "What's your breaking point?" And I said, "What do you mean breaking point?" She said, "What will you give into to buy a Corvette?" And I said, "Such as?" She said, "Will you go automatic transmission?" And I said, no, I will not go automatic transmission. I said, "I don't need a Corvette right now. I'll just wait until the right one comes along." And I did.
Wise choice, wise choice. You know, they're sports cars. Sports cars are standard transmission.
In my book, they are.
Yeah.
You know, granted, I have a lot of friends that have automatics, and they love their automatics, and that's okay. But the thing about cars, it's a personal preference.
Exactly.
You know,
yes.
what I like doesn't necessarily mean you have to like the same thing. But I love my car. I do.
I can see why you would, Mike. It's spotless.
Well,
it's beautiful. It really is.
Thank you.
And a trunk. You've got a trunk here.
Well, yes.
A lot of Corvettes don't.
A lot of Corvettes don't have trunks. I know, Guy, that you own a '69 Corvette. You do not have a trunk in yours.
The trunk space is behind the seats.
And keyless entry, something else that the older Corvettes probably would never have. Have a trunk, and they have these compartments in there where you can lift them up and still in storage underneath the compartments.
Okay.
A real big compartment right here. A 12 CD changer is in here.
Oh.
Which I control from the,
Okay.
If I want to play my CDs, I load this up with
You load it up and go down the road?
I go down the road, listen to my CDs. I can do that. So there's plenty of room. Believe it or not, there's a whole lot more room in here than what you think.
There it is. Yes, you're right.
I got the compartments in there, and I keep a lot of my cleaning supplies. If you own a Corvette, guy, you have to have your cleaning supplies with you, you know, because when you take the car out and you're at a show, you probably ran over grass and you got grass on your tires or maybe a little bit of mud on your fender wells. And you need to clean that stuff off because people like us just don't like showing up our cars.
Yeah.
You know, when
we're proud of them, that they have to be perfect.
They do have to be perfect. Again, the only thing that I know that was changed on this car from standard, it has the Borla exhaust on it.
Oh, it does. It does. Yes.
Yeah. And I will probably, well, no, I will start this thing up for you, and we'll get to listen to what that sounds like.
I want you to start this up, and then after we start it up, Mike, I want you to take me for a ride in this. Is that a possibility?
It is a definite. It's a definite. It's not a possibility. We will do that. But the one thing about the Borla exhaust that I like, because you know sometimes it brings the kid out in you. You put it in first gear, you wind first gear out to about 40 miles per hour, and you keep it in first gear, and you get that that whatever you call it, and you just hear that exhaust.
Yeah.
And it just sounds so good, and people look at you. And you love that.
That's exactly right. It's a head turner, isn't it?
It really is. It really is. Guy, I'll be honest with you, just what you said. I don't know how much longer I might be on the face of this earth. I don't. The Lord might decide to take me tomorrow, but I'm going to leave with a Corvette.
Well, I'll tell you what, I would be very proud to have this, Mike. It's beautiful.
Yep. Yeah. Power antenna here in the back. As soon as you turn the stereo system on, the antenna comes on up. It's clean. I like it that way. I like keeping it that way. My wife asked me why I wash it and clean it so much. Because that's what we do with the things that we love. We do those kinds of things.
I was just noticing we have the Corvette logo under there, don't we? That is so cool.
And that plate has a specific name, and my friends are going to really laugh at me for not knowing what that thing is called. But I put that on myself. Actually, I bought it and put that on because it just looks so good right there.
It does.
You know?
It does. Yes. Beautiful, Mike. Beautiful. You know, I look at this car and it looks like it's right off the showroom floor. It really does.
It does. Eventually, I'll be getting some new tires. They're run flat tires. You know, if they get a hole in them, they'll run for up to 200 miles.
Okay.
On being flat, they won't go flat. So that gives you 200 miles to get someplace to get it repaired. The C5s have what they call the spears here on the side.
Okay.
Some guys take those things off because they don't like the spears. Mine came with them. I want to keep the car pretty much as stock as possible if I can. So I'm going to keep the spears on it.
And the pinstriping, do they all have the pinstriping?
No, they don't. That was something that the former owner had put on.
Okay.
And it's on both sides, the pinstriping. So I just kind of left that alone. But I'm not going to do a whole lot of modifications to this car. Probably a new stereo system in the near future. Actually, 3 days from now, a new stereo system. It goes in, get rid of the AM/FM cassette and put in a new Pioneer system with all digital, USB, Bluetooth, the whole thing.
So you're going to bring that up to 2020.
It'll be up to 2020 with the. I want to put the backup cam on it too, and put that in. So sometimes it's a little hard to judge the distance, and the last thing I want to do on this thing is back this thing into maybe a concrete, little barrier or something back there.
Exactly.
So I'll have that.
Oh, Mike, this is just beautiful.
Thank you.
I'll tell you what. Why don't you put the hood down?
Okay.
I want you to start this thing up. I'm going to get back here.
Okay.
I want to hear this thing started up, and then you got to promise me to take me for a ride.
I'll take you for a ride. Let's start this up. We can hear what that Borla exhaust sounds like.
That's what I want to hear.
All right. Well, let's close this baby up.
Now you're not going to blow me 30 yards behind me now, are you, when you start this
Well,
up?
it does have a lot of power, but it's not quite a jet airplane yet.
Okay.
You know?
Okay, I didn't know about the thrust.
I think you'll be okay. All right, here we go.
You know, Mike, it reminds me of a Formula One for some odd reason. It's got that Formula One sound.
Well, to be honest with you, I've never really compared it to a stock exhaust, so I don't know what the stock sounds like. But I just know what my car sounds like, and I love the sound of it. And
I don't blame you. I do too.
well, Guy, I know we've said this before, or if we haven't, let me just say that this car, it's not just a car that you take. It's an experience. You just don't own this. It's the experience of driving the car. You have the sound, you have the vibration. You're close to the ground. You go around bends and you can go at higher speeds and it hugs the road. It's just the experience of driving the Corvette that just makes this car, for me, so special.
Well,
And I'm glad that I ran into my friend. I'm glad he told me about, that I should have I considered a Corvette, and I'm glad that I did. I certainly love my car.
well. So, is it time to take a ride?
It's time to take a ride. We can go topless, or we can put the top back up.
I'll tell you what. Why don't we put the top up? Because I think we're going to be maybe going faster than 35. Do you think?
Well, I don't want to disappoint you. We'll go a little bit faster than 35.
Okay, good. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and put the top up, and hey, let's go down the road.
Let's go down the road. All right, sounds like a plan.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, Guy.
I know one thing that I've always liked about a sports car, you have the round gauges, and that's just what they're made to be. And gosh, it looks so nice when you're looking at it.
Right.
You got your oil temp, you got your oil pressure, temperature gauge. I really can't see what else you have. I know you have a fuel. And what do you have
a fuel gauge? I got an ammeter, and I got oil pressure, and I got water temperature.
Yes.
Right. And of course, tachometer. And this in 2001, they had the heads-up display, which I absolutely love. I never look down at the speedometer. I don't. I always look at the heads-up display, and you can adjust it up and down. You can brighten it, dim it. And I will say, at night it's a little in the way, so I don't like it at night as much. But during the day, I love my heads-up display. It's one of the best features of this car, and it has a thing that they call a DIC, which I believe stands for Digital Instrument Cluster. I think that's what it stands for. And you can have all these different things, all these different settings. That what do you want displayed on your DIC? And I usually keep it on range. How many miles do I have remaining on the tank of gas that I have? But it'll show what your fuel economy is going to be, and you can make it say what you want it to say. And to me, for 2001, it's still very modern and up to date.
Well, I'm just looking at the interior here. It's spotless. It really, really is. This car is, you might as well say 18, 19 years old.
Right.
And it looks like it just came right out of the showroom floor. You must take a lot of care to it.
Well, I take a lot of care to it, but whoever owned it before me, because I am the second owner, took a lot of care to it. Like I said, had 13,800 miles on it when I bought it last May.
Just barely broken in.
Right. If you do the math, that's about 700 miles a year that this person drove. And I'm about to be passed up by an SUV, and I don't know if, wow, I can't believe that. Could we go back and redo this again? Because I shouldn't allow that to happen.
There are some people that just want to put that on their bucket list. I passed the Corvette.
That's okay. This is a long road, buddy, and I have a lot of gasoline in this car.
Well, Mike, it's awfully nice of you to give me a ride in this. But you know, one thing I want to see you put this thing through its paces. I don't know if we have maybe a place to turn around up here or not. Well, we can come back the other way.
Well,
if you don't mind.
I'd love to do it. Let's find a place up here, and we'll go ahead and turn around, and we'll put her through her paces. I'll at least go through the first 2, maybe 3 gears, but by that time we're going to be hitting 80, 90 miles an hour.
Okay.
Guys, so
sure.
This thing will move out, and it can be a little scary at times, but let's put it through her pace center here in the middle of the road. But you know, some people just do. So we'll just kind of stop here. All right, you ready for this, guy?
Yes, sir. Oh my gosh, here we go.
All right, 75 miles per hour in the first 2 gears.
Wow. Now, when you have it on the interstate and you're going, let's say, 75, and I guess you're in 6th gear.
6th gear.
What does it normally turn in 6th gear on the interstate at 75?
Well, believe it or not, even though we did something back there, we kind of saw what this car could do. I'm a pretty law-abiding citizen guy. I do 70 miles per hour on this interstate, and I'm turning over about 1,400 RPM.
About 1,400.
Yeah, and the engine's barely turning.
It's not even. It's not showing any signs of fatigue at all that way.
None at all. And this car has cruise control, and I'll set the cruise at 70. And one of the things I like to say, I know we don't buy these cars for gas mileage.
Right.
We don't, because we don't care about gas mileage. But when I bought this car in Pittsburgh and brought it back, I filled it up in Pittsburgh, and I thought, and we're a place where you could reset the fuel economy, reset it. And now you got to remember, coming out of Pittsburgh and going through West Virginia and Maryland, there's a lot of hills.
A lot of hills,
a lot of mountains to go through, up and down. Of course, once you get into Virginia, it's a little more stable. But when I got home, after, 280 miles, I think the trip was, 30.9 miles to the gallon.
Oh, wow.
And I was just blown away that I could be driving something like this and still getting 30.9 miles to the gallon. Now, again, that was interstate driving, driving 55 on some of the roads, mostly 70 miles per hour on the interstates. And using the cruise control so you keep it at that speed, and it totally outstanding. Now, around town, you can't drive a Corvette without getting into it, okay?
Yes.
Because you buy it for the experience. So you get into it when you're driving it, and you wind out first gear, and you wind out second gear. And like I told my wife, she said, don't you go over the speed limit? And I said, I don't go over the speed limit, but I get there really fast. But that's all part of the experience. Here we are. We're cruising at 56 miles per hour. I'm in 6th gear, and I'm turning over about 1,100.
Wow,
RPM.
you are. Yes.
And that's it. And if I check my gas mileage, I am right now getting instantaneous 50.8 miles to the gallon. So, yeah.
That's what really separates the newer cars from the older ones.
Well, I have the best of both worlds. I got a sports car. I love my sports car. It's fast, even though, it's not like I bought it for a race car. I did not. I bought it for a show car, to take it to car shows and to show it off. I'll be honest with you. I love when people look at my car.
You're proud of it.
I'm very proud of it.
You want to show it off.
That's right. And all of us, guy, who have Corvettes or any other nice vehicles, we bought the cars because we do love the cars and we are proud of them.
Exactly. Yes.
We do like it when people look at it and say, hey, that's a nice car, or something like that, or admire it, whatever the case may be.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mike, I really enjoyed this. Episode of Collect Your Cars in Augusta County, Virginia has come to an end. And we really want to thank Mike Auen for giving us the opportunity to ride in his Corvette and show us a little bit about it. We'll be doing this many times throughout the year. There's a lot of cars that we want to spotlight, and also we'll be going to a lot of car shows throughout the area. So, like our YouTube page, subscribe to our YouTube page, and until we see you again, you guys have a great day, and hey, we'll see you on the next episode of Collector Cars in Augusta County, Virginia.